A Texas high school remains a crime scene following a shooting on Friday. One of the victims, a former Valley resident and member of a Far Baptist church. Channel 5's Cecilia Gutierrez spoke to her family about their sudden loss.
Santa Fe High School is still mourning the loss of 8 students and 2 teachers. One of those teachers, Cynthia Tisdale, a former resident of Far and member of the Anchor Bible Baptist Church, where her brother-in-law, John Tisdale, is the pastor. He says his life took an unexpected turn on Friday.
You know, this is one of the tragic things of life that we never know what's going to happen.
Friday afternoon, Tisdale got word his sister-in-law, Cynthia Tisdale, was one of the victims in the Santa Fe school shooting. Cynthia Tisdale was a Valley resident and churchgoer before moving to the Houston area for work. He says Cynthia Tisdale was, on all accounts, a loving wife, mother, and teacher.
Well, she's really an amazing person in many, many ways. She loved her family and loved her children very much and loved her grandchildren.
The pastor says he remembers his sister-in-law being very organized and a caregiver to his little brother, who was diagnosed with IBF, a fatal lung disease, almost 2 years ago.
She was probably what we'd call a neat freak. Everything was in order. Her refrigerator, everything was in order.
And she was always thinking of others, even leaving a kind note to her husband Friday morning before work.
So she got up early to go to work. When she left for work that day, she left him a note.
The note reads, "Had to go meet a teacher. I love you. Hope you feel better. Love, Mom." With the sentence, "Left you breakfast" in the corner.
She wrote that note, and less than 2 hours later, she was with the Lord.
He says Tisdale went to become a full-time substitute teacher almost 2 years ago, but not just to help with expenses.
Cynthia loved kids. She loved kids. Probably if she could have gone back and done her life over again, she probably would have become a teacher. She would have been a good one.
He says he heard the news from his nephew, Cynthia's son, William Tisdale Jr., who's a local law enforcement officer that responded to the scene. Dr. Tisdale says his sister-in-law was unaccounted for hours after the incident.
As the day progressed, we kept checking and inquiring whether there was any news on Cynthia. She wasn't answering her cell phone. We had some hope that perhaps it wasn't her.
At around 5 o'clock that day, his nephew called and said one of the victims was his mother, Cynthia.
I miss her. It's hard for me to even comprehend that tomorrow, God willing, when we go to see my brother, that she won't be there to greet us. She always had a smile. She always had a smile.
Dr. Tisdale hopes something good can come out of Cynthia's story.
I've not lost Cynthia. I know where she is. Of course, I thought and I meditated and I cried, and then I just leaned on Jesus and I said, Jesus, you've got to help me.
He knows his family's faith will get them through this difficult time. In Far, Cecilia Gutierrez, Channel 5 News, this weekend.